All right, let's get to it. Just had dinner and a cup of coffee. It's I think about almost 6 o'clock at night. There it is. And we got some full battery here. Let's get some work done. I'm gonna try to keep you guys moving, okay? Things are gonna take. It's a rough turn here. If Joe thinks he's in trouble now, the pressure is about to get increase on him in an exponential way. And so here kind of up and down, keeping the pressure on. There was a small sort of a decline there where I'm still telling him I'm fucking him in the ass, this and that, but I kind of pulled back on the pressure. Here, in a bit, I'll increase it, and then Jesus will let me know kind of, here in a bit, he's going to let me know exactly what the maneuver is, and you'll see that, and I'll introduce you to that when we get there. So here is just your basic run-of-the-mill shit, trash talk right here. Kind of like what I'm doing right now, bitch, fucking a dead man in the ass, okay, right? That's where we left off. I was corrected in a meeting recently. I said, she said after slicing his dick off, it'll grow back. I was corrected. No, that is not what she said. She said it will grow out, not back. It will grow out. Joe, from the evidence you have, what was the average time it took for a civilian to bleed to death once his erection was sliced off? Now here we are, we're back in business. This is business. So your strategy is to hunker down on the base, only communicate by radio, and hope my siege gets lifted by some unfortunate twist of fate? Buddy, I got my dick down the throat. Oh, wow. Whew. Buddy, I got my dick down the throat of the military, and I'm giving Congress the back of my hand. I'm gonna fuck you till you love me, faggot. I have to run out to Trader Joe's for dinner. I'll be at the Eastern Market Station. That's East Capitol Hill. East Capitol Hill's Eastern Market. Past the Library of Congress and the Supreme Court. I'll be at Eastern Market Station at 6 o'clock. It's right there, the Trader Joe's right there. You want to die, please show. I'll be easy to spot. I'm the guy ready to kill for justice. You're the other guy. And I'm running behind, so I said, I'm leaving now, so make it 6:15. I feel compelled to truly warn you, if I see you there, I intend to kill you. It would be totally foolish to show up to talk. This is a sincere appointment. It's not an invitation. I'm telling him this is your opportunity. Let's have it out. Like, man, my family, and I hope when my family hears and sees this, obviously there's going to be a sense of pride, but we need to realize we're all sinners. We're trying to find what is righteous and do that thing and recognize when a brother, another friend of a family member, this person has fallen into sin and we need to help. Okay? But part of this is pulling him out of the sin here, A part of my family's gonna be a little bit of proud, this and that, kind of the right-sided sense of the guys. I'm not completely behind the John Wayne Act, but sometimes it's called for. We've had this quite a bit in our family where, all right, it's time, let's go. So nothing. Did you at least get a look at me? I thought maybe he drove by. I went down there. I stopped 6 guys. The first guy was, in my mind, he was 6'10". Thinking on it, honestly, I think he might have been more like 7 foot. When the first guy was that big, I thought, well, The guy was enormous. Anybody that's super fucking pissed is really not a guy you want to fuck with. And this is one thing you learn out here. It's just true. You learn on the street. You're not the baddest guy in town. There's always somebody that's bigger, badder, and fuck you up. It's just the case. But all they can tell, like I saw a young man telling an old man, it was on the 5th floor of the Pat Handy. And the old man said, son, I'll work you out, boy. The old man ain't going to whoop him, but he's saying, buddy, I have an old soul. I'll work you out. I will fucking work you out. So whether I could beat Joe or not is not the point. The point is somebody's going to get worked the fuck out. There were 6 guys that I stopped at. I think that, well, let's move on. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm trying, okay? Don't get pissed at me. There's a lot of shit here. This is years of culmination. I'm really trying here. I'm doing my best. 6 men are thrilled not to have been Joe Warpinski at Eastern Market tonight. First dude was 6'10". I just said to myself, I got promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. One dude had the great misfortune of actually being a Joe. Imagine his relief. One dude caught an attitude, so I let him know if he sees Naval Officer Joe Warpinski that I'm coming for him. When Julius Caesar went north for the Gallic Wars and he met the opposing commander, the general told him, you need to know my men have not slept indoors for 14 years. Joe, I haven't slept since 2011. You're a fucking dead man. Your judgment has greatly failed you. Okay. Now we need to stop for this real fast. This is where Jesus has introduced an element that's going to radically change everything. It took me a while to realize in a double envelopment, like a kanai, it's like a horseshoe. I almost brought the paper with me to show you guys. The only thing worse than that is you need a backstop. Army of 25,000 destroyed the Roman army of 80,000. They said the ground shook as they approached. They were able to pull off a double envelopment. It looks like a horseshoe. Jesus is about to help me. He's unveiled the plan. He's about to introduce a backstop to where it's basically a full encirclement. And it starts with this line right here. You know I have a base in Navy Yard 2, right? 2, actually. Oh, boy. Sorry, you guys. You have to understand this is wartime shit. All right, you understand? If you're a sensitive, this wouldn't be the shit for you. Don't listen any further if you don't understand. You're welcome to come and enjoy the pleasures of this, enjoy the shade under nuclear weapons, but you don't want to see what happens at the tip of the nuclear weapon. And in a sense, I got to sort of argue the case of these soldiers here. You send these boys off to war, and you don't want to know about the shit they have to do out there and do. And so you're going to hear some shit here that's unpleasant. You don't want to know what happens on the front line. This is the front line, all right? Have somebody else do the work for you here. And then you tell, I'm too sissy to do the work myself. This is going to be some tough stuff. It's going to get pretty fucked up. You know I have a base in Navy Yard 2, right? 2, actually. The niggers south of the Anacostia would just love to know about your exploits all over the world. That's the mug there, boys. Burn it down and put them in the ground. Mug is their word. The mug is their word for motherfucker. It is good that war is so terrible, lest we should learn to love it. Who said that? I think it was Lee. My level of confidence in these types of affairs are astounding, to say the least. Here I digress a little bit in personal matters. Like I've always been somewhat sexually frigid, dated some total smoke shows, but they'd almost all universally agree, just not cracking in the bedroom. I guess my idea of great sex is to fuck in the garden or something. But this, bro, I'm from the Wild West, and I'm gonna devour this meal any way I want. I just get straight up Sherman at Shiloh. Looks like you pulled the short straw, hot shot. General Sherman lost. He was a neurotic mess. He was one of the. They said, "When did you find out you're crazy?" He said, "When I read in the paper." He was sitting down to dinner with the press, and they said they realized he was just too jacked up. He was too jittery. He had sent. I think he just had a better sense of how the thing was going to unfold. And they finally, the journalist wrote in the next paper next day, Sherman insane. So they put him on, he's a great soldier though, put him on relief duty until he got better. And then he came back. His first battle back was Shiloh. He got 5 horses shot out from underneath him, just went berserk. It was kind of a great relief when finally the war came for Sherman. It was a great relief. He could see Lee and maneuvers. He imagined maneuvers happening everywhere. And that sort of fucked with his nerves. Eventually, he regained so much composure. He's the one that did he ripped through the South to end the war. And they thought that, honestly, it was going to be like Napoleon out in the snow. He really pulled it. That's an incredible maneuver. They call it total war. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I'm telling him I'm getting fired up. I just get straight up Sherman at Shiloh. Looks like you pulled the short straw, hot shot. I think I'm going to leave this one to Daniel Day-Lewis. I drink your milkshake. This is my level of confidence in what's happening here. With Jesus, years of preparation for this moment. I don't know how I'm going to prevail, but I know I will. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. If you have a straw, and I have a straw, I drink it up. I drink your milkshake. Daniel Day-Lewis and there may be blood. No, there will be blood. You're going to go downtown to FBI headquarters on Penn Avenue and hand the complete file over to Agent Haddock. That's the FBI agent I talked to about this stuff with Laura. A year prior. He will inform me that he has received it. At that time, the acute phase of this siege will lift. Until then, Slim, I assure you, shit is going to continue to get weird. Bagging Laura, which I am convinced will result in several consecutive life sentences, if not the death penalty, is for my niece. You, Omar, and the other grip of thugs is for God and country. Look, you ain't the center of the Navy Yard right now. You ain't even the center of DC or America. You're at the center of the world. And it's an absolute criminal shame and mind-blowingly obvious why you haven't called an FBI hostage negotiator for Laura. She's kept chained up and is sick of eating puppy chow. When I learned she was pregnant, I directed the boys to give her 1 raw potato a day. If the fucking Irish can do it, so can she. You ever seen a woman give a potato a sensual blowjob? Buddy, you have now. I promise you that joke was from Jesus. I wish I could take credit for it. It's so good. Imagine a woman, potato, in a dog kennel, giving a sensual... I wish I could claim that joke. We actually have video. The Marine Corps is going to love it. It will be a perfect juxtaposition to that video you give Agent Haddock. I'm fighting a cold. Hold on. Look, it's a snake. It'll be a perfect juxtaposition to that video you give Agent Haddock. I pretend like he's begging to know. So I say, okay, I'll tell you. In the video they sent me, it's like she's slowly gumming it, trying different angles. And get this, slobbering. There's legit drool. I was like, that settles it for me. There's no way she's dehydrated with all that saliva. I asked why the drool is red. They said it might be a loose tooth. I don't know, maybe scurvy. So I told them to throw some limes in there to cure the scurvy. Well, apparently she didn't like the lime. A little history lesson real fast for soldiers who go out on the sea. They're sailors. After several months out at sea, eating hardtack, their gums would get rot. Nobody knew how to cure it. It was the British who somehow ended up putting limes in their diet, and they figured it out. Limes cure the scurvy. And so that's why you put it in a diet. And so British soldiers are known as limeys. I hear a radio. I shouldn't hear a radio here. There's so much security here. Oh, it's our security. British soldiers or British sailors or limeys, they're the one that accidentally figured out how to cure scurvy. You know how vicious she's been her entire life. As you know, she's a serial killer, so it was hard to break her spirit. So I just gave the boys that Joe Frazier philosophy. Destroy the body, and the mind will follow. Seemed to work generally. But you know what we're working with here. Joe, when the Russian steamroller first arrived in Berlin, they were pretty generous with the Germans. They simply showed up at the Reichstag and politely informed the German staff that they were sitting in their chairs. Then they ordered a rape and plunder of all the women and goods. Joe, you're sitting in my chair. Hitler, when he went west, he says respect human dignities and human law. The Geneva Conventions apply. When you go out east, or the Slavs, like I said, this word Slav is the root word for slave. When you go east, the Slavs, Geneva Conventions do not apply out there. That was the horror that has occurred to Germany. So when the Russian steamroller came this way and we gave them East Berlin, it was a fair thing. Write this down. We beat the Nazi dog with the Soviet stick. It was their right to have half of Berlin. Write this down. If you held Berlin you held Germany. And if you held Germany, you held Europe. That Berlin is the cherry on the sundae. It was their right to have half of it. It doesn't matter if you like communism or not. They earned it. So when they got their half, and they informed everyone, because what was about to happen was about to get extremely, extremely ugly. So they were actually pretty generous about it. They just walked in and said, you're now in our chairs. So they got up, and now they run the show. And the last order of the day was to rape all the women. It was the first time in church history that a bishop in Berlin said, well, okay, every woman was raped multiple times. I think it was, there was a bishop that said, okay, well, we authorize you to get abortions. I think it was like 240,000 abortions or something like that, something absurd. But you went out there, the Genevan Conventions do not apply. I think this is a great deal please help Mother Mary. I believe this is a great deal of what happened when we went out east. Well, because they used terror, we can reciprocate. Now here I digress into having a little fun with him. I said, you fucking smart ass. You see all the R's I've changed right here, I've changed to H's. I'm just tired of reeling him in, so I'm having a little fun. You fucking smart ass. My partner asked you a question. Why is there no fucking distress call? At this point, I'm now hammering away, why haven't you called the FBI? Now, it's glaring, I've told you, it's glaringly obvious why you won't call the FBI. You do not want that agency or any other criminal investigative agency, any other federal agency, know what we're talking about right here. Now, do you? If you don't answer the fucking, we're gonna come down there to the fucking Navy Yard, identify all parties involved, and get this all sorted out. We're gonna come down there and hurt some people. So there was just some attention called to your motives, and I'm like, for rape? He did it because he could. And they're like, no, for sitting on the file. It is insisted to me that you have hidden these crimes because you wanted to be in. It is insisted to me that you have hidden these crimes because you wanted to be in good with decision makers who could promote you. Excuse me. Okay, that's thoughtful analysis, actually, and I really do appreciate the input, but you know you're about to be dishonorably discharged. You remember Captain Henry Wirtz? It is well known he was desperate to be major, so bad it was embarrassing. We hung him. Guys, Henry Wirtz, that's the Confederate grave that we went to out at out in the Trinidad neighborhood. Dude, there will be consecutive life sentences and death penalties handed out for all this. What do you think is in store for the dude that purposely kept a serial killer free so you could advance your career? Again, I didn't use a question mark. That's a question. I didn't put in a question mark. It's the second time I've seen that. It ain't like she went on to become a veterinarian, man. You seen that fucking tattoo? Jesus says she has a pretty extraordinary tattoo. You show as shit seen that video. We all have personality defects, man. Everybody has quirks. These things make us beautiful because it reminds us we're vulnerable and in need of care and love. Laura's not just a serial killer. Her trademark is something I would call downward mobility. This is something I had to think this through. It's the best I could come up with, you guys. Downward mobility. It's as if bigness never was an option. So there's something like a delight in horrifyingly small evil, like giving a man the best blowjob of his life and severing his dick off as he ejaculates. This isn't borderline. These are some of the gravest crimes in the history of man. That's why my cock is down your throat right now. And I'm not going to stop skull fucking you until you hand that complete file to Agent Haddock at the FBI. I mean, seriously, you should be praying I'm successful. If this don't go the right way, you're going to be fucked in ways that are, well, let's just say, pre-diluvian. That just means before the flood. Deluge is flood, pre-deluge, pre-diluvian. I mean, courtrooms are classy and dignified compared to being tied off to a bumper and dragged around Anacostia Station and up MLK after you're beat to fuck and your balls are ripped off. You remember Mike Durant in Mogadishu? You think that's beneath Americans when they learn what you guys did? I think I need to show you I can get to you. Let me stop let me pause real fast to blow my nose. It's dripping. I'm sorry. I said, I think I need to show you I can get to you. That's an authentic thing that just occurs right there. It just occurred to me at that point that I should look him up on the internet and say, you're not safe right across down the street or wherever the fuck you are. I actually thought he was further downriver, to be honest with you guys. Everything's basically on the Potomac River. All the installations, that was before, back in the day when everything was transported up, by boat and shit like that. Now there's too many bridges for the cars that you can't get the boats up, you know what I mean? Like real ships. So here I go. I think I need to show you I can get to you. And I look online. I look him up. I go, oh, wow, you're a kid. That's a sincere thing. I didn't even fucking know. With this situation, it was easier. It was better for me. And even I wanted to know less, to be honest with you. I've never seen a picture of Joe Warpinski. It would shock you. I didn't want... A lot of times, like, social media is just total horseshit. It's the image people want projected of you. I felt it was better to play it in the blind with just the information I was getting from the Almighty and what I had learned up to that point, and working blind over in Congress on Capitol Hill. Mainly, you want to know the truth, you guys? Because I was secretly afraid I might see what he looks like. And then I might be I'm telling you, I'm like a very sweet man, but I'll fucking cut your fat ass down. But the truth is, I was afraid I might see what he looks like and I might be intimidated or something. You know what I mean? That it would change my vibe. It was better to go in blind. That's why, like, when I saw that 6'10", that 7 foot dude, I'm like, fuck. I still don't know what he looks like. I've seen all the attorneys. You see that Casey Handel with the Navy SEAL. You see everyone but Warpinski. I thought it would tweak me out. Like, I would see, like, oh, he's, big swinging dick, or, oh, he's an old fat tubby, or, I would get it wrong. Like, and that totally kind of, it's bad information in a sense. Just because he's overweight or he hits the gym all day. I don't know the case. The point is, I got a mug right here. I've got to do this job, and I didn't want anything to mess with my head. So it was like the less I knew it better. I did not look him up on any social media. Oh, wow, you're a kid. So yeah, at 34, that's the very peak of physical prowess. I try to tell my brothers to enjoy it. Wish my father had told me that. But that's so young, you're still worried about not getting hurt. That's a substantial thing, you guys. I've crushed my leg climbing the topsail, down to one eye like Hannibal, several lawsuits, and one very lengthy crucifixion. So my thought is you should definitely check in with an adult. Young man, I will show you no fucking mercy. Laura is roughly 15 years older than you. Now I'm really baffled. Oh, that's the job. Advance the interests of the corporation. Oh, partner, been there. So right there, I'm just realizing he's young. he works law for the Navy. He probably at some point he wants to go. Who knows what his final thing is? At some point you can play two hands there. Well, I can go up in the ranks of the military, or I can go private. And after you work the angles, you learn how the government works. They're very, very valuable when they jump to the private enterprise. You work for the SEC, you get a law degree, you work for the SEC, and then you go over and you defend the crooks because you know how toothless, you know how the SEC works inside and out, and you're worth a mountain of money. So I'm just saying, I see your game as you're playing I said, oh partner, I've been there. I thought I was chopping it up with a war-hardened veteran. Now I really need to rethink my thrust. No wonder your second move was the same as your opening move. I couldn't believe that move. Now I feel like I should be guiding your cock, not blocking it. Do you want to change sides? Like become an actual patriot and do something for the Navy and your country? Wow, I need to really rethink on some things here. You're in like way over your head. A general would struggle with me. Let me think. Honestly, bro, you have no idea what I was about to do. It would have been way outsized for you. I was looking to stump the president and the National Security Council. Well, son, no matter what happens, you're about to get some of the greatest experience of your life. You're going to get hurt. Bad.